I've been learning about sonic brands and the importance of sound to your brand. And if we think of a really good one, just to kind of paint the picture in your head, if you think about TED Talks, there's a really identifiable sound of that water droplet. And it's the perfect example of a brand that knows its sonic brand, its value proposition, because TED is all about ideas worth sharing. And so this water droplet is kind of like the dropping of the idea and then the ripples spreading out, sharing that idea. And the sound evokes that emotion and that understanding. And then obviously there are brands where a sound, like the McDonald's jingle, I'm loving it. You know, you hear the jingle without the words, you know it's McDonald's. So sonic branding is actually really important, and we don't think about it enough. And it's not just for commercial brands that are kind of doing adverts on TV or radio, but obviously if you are doing radio ads, you need to think about everything to do with the sound. So if you think about your values and your value proposition, what should that voice be? The narrator. If you're creating industrial animations for the dog's being an oik, for your capital equipment, then think about your brand and your value propositions, your values, to think about what that voice should be like, what the music's like. Don't just leave it to somebody to, scroll through these free online music sites to find something they like. Think about your value propositions and your value and your message to find the right music, the right sound for you. But it doesn't have to be music like the TED idea. So yeah, it's really important. If you think about it, where does your brand show up in audio? And the dog's following me down the hill. If you think about it, music, sound can be really emotive, can't it? If you hear, we've all got those songs that when we hear that music, it takes us back to that place or that memory when. And that's how emotive and evocative sound can be. So it's something that you could take seriously. So if you do think about where your brand shows up, audibly, the most common place is going to be on the phone, isn't it? So who's answering that phone? What's that on hold message like? What's the first thing that your customers hear? Is it the kind of TED water droplet, emotive sound? Or are you wasting that opportunity? I think as sound becomes more and more important, as we search for things using sound rather than touching screen, and that's obviously a growing behaviour, then sound is going to become more and more important. Certainly worth considering. I was tasked with putting together I decided myself to put together a bit of an intro and an outro for our LinkedIn Live on Mondays. So you'll have to see what emotions that evokes when you tune in.